would like to do, and there's still some great discussions going on around the room, is I'm just going to come around and ask you what your key takeaways are from each table. So I'd be interested to hear from somebody if you're open to speaking.
What would you know? What would you like to know?
I would like to know what your key takeaway is.
I think I'll try to put it in 3 points, easy to remember probably. Empathy does not start at work. Start at home, with your wife and parents, with your siblings, with your children. If you don't exercise empathy there, you will never be able to exercise empathy anywhere else. That's lesson number 1. Do what matters, what holds you to your moral anchor. If what you're doing does not have a purpose, not links you to the moral anchor, you will never make it. It's going to be, unfortunately, futile, because you will not have genuinity or genuineness in whatever you do. You will not be able to inspire anybody with that behavior. It will be short-lived. Point number 3, I really forgot, so can you guys try to remind me?
One of the points that everyone at the table shared was in terms of when you're building a legacy or building a company up, don't wait till the end to like just hand it off. I mean, you have to, back to what Mara was saying, you have to model empathy, you have to model it for the next generation, you have to give them the connective tissue about why the organization is the way it is, and make sure that you're not just treating your employees as just little employees, but they're part of the organization, give them the way to feel connected. And so that if you impart that on the next generation, we're talking about, right now they're outliers, but if you make that more of in the average and being able to model that and replicate that, then you'll have a much stronger tie. So.
Is this correct?
I'm the writer. I had an easy team to facilitate, because for each question there was some quick answer. We started from how would you define empathy and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I think a very straightforward and effective way, my humble opinion. And why is empathy important? Understand the other human being in a general perspective. From a more corporate perspective, catch the full potential of people. Otherwise, there is no way to leverage talents in an organization. How can you use empathy to create better relationships? We had TAC, show interest, respect, trust. So we had a book here, the Encyclopedia of Empathy. When can empathy be seen as a sign of strength or weaknesses? This was the question with most discussion in the team. Can you become vulnerable by putting yourself too much in somebody else's shoes, because you kind of over-connect and kind of lose yourself? And we responded that depends on the culture, depends on short-term focused on money, or long-term focused on value of the organization. How does or can your family office create psychological safety for empathy? There is nothing wrong to include associates, empowering and give opportunity to be authentic. And yes, that my humble opinion was probably the number 1, if I can say, takeaway.
That's great. I like that. Give people the opportunity to be authentic. It's lovely.
Please credit. And I'm building an organization that is not afraid to make mistakes, of course. Discuss empathetic language patterns, try to think of example. We started to relax a bit, sorry, and so I understand how was your day. Sometimes even it's even a basic, simple way to, but also we challenged ourselves by saying, in the reality, when you go really high for the 500, Fortune 500, the is no way to start the meeting to say, hey, how are you? Because if you start this way, probably you're already out. So it is also understanding the environment where you are. And we also speculated a bit about how an expression like, I hear you, may be empathetic or even glacial, and depending on the culture. So it really, the same expression and the same language pattern, according to the culture, may have. And to end, how do you think increasing empathy in your family office would affect your family office? Greater level of harmony and long-term gain. And that, I think, is a good summary of our discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Should we do key takeaways? I love.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to go through the questionnaire, but we are quite an empathetic table here. And we have discussed a lot of practical examples. And I think we agree that leadership with empathy definitely brings positive change, positive outcomes. But yes, there are also examples where being empathetic might not work for the business. And to be honest, I think we just came with one, and that's when the new generation is taking over a business, and there are some people in a business that have been there for a long time, and you just need to manage them out, and it's not always easy. So, but otherwise, I think we feel that leading with empathy definitely brings positive change, positive outcomes, and it's the way to go forward, and especially in family businesses and family offices. And it doesn't matter which country you are in, because we are here kind of Syria, Saudi, UAE, Nigeria, and it really kind of goes globally.
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm loving this intercultural exchange terminology and everything else. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just echo as well what you said on there about it can only be positive in terms of the changes that can be made. I think we decided that there was a lot of, I guess, building trust, creating a culture or developing the culture even more. Just, yeah, regular conversations, kind of opening up, very like non-judgmental conversations as well, so allowing people to actually speak openly. And again, that also builds the trust. So kind of start with a focus to build the trust, but as you go on, you know, it will help to do that. Just show an interest in your team, and you know, also not a focus purely on work. It can be other stuff outside of work, because again, it just helps to really build on that relationship. And I guess, yeah, just show an interest, and yeah, and a lot of positive change can come from that. So.
Last table? Yes. Who would like to speak?
Yeah. First of all right here. But for me, empathy, or why such important, is because you can put, if you're very empathic, you can put on the same settings than with the people you speak with. You can communicate on the same level, and this is, I think, the most important on this. This the whole private relationship and the business relationship between everyone, and it doesn't matter with whom you communicate, from where he is, what he's doing. If you are empathic, you can speak and be friends, be business partner with everyone in the world. If you're not empathic, you're a psychopath, and you will never have friends or a relationship.
Thank you.
Hi, I would like to add only one small example, if you allow. As a manager, if I have 10 people working with me and there is a task to be achieved, if I tell them, you go and do it, this is one way of saying. Another way, let's go and do it. The second one makes more impact, and I think it involves everybody. That's the only example I could think of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, yes, sure, absolutely.
I think you mentioned the Fortune 500 companies that we cannot apply empathy. I worked there for 20 years. You can apply it every day. It doesn't matter where you are. You can apply empathy anywhere. One thing you need to remember, empathy comes with a personal time. When you're empathetic, that means you are ready to listen to people. That's coming out of your time, of your work, which you need to exercise and still work. That means you're ready to listen to the people of what problems they're going through, and you're ready to provide advice. So you need to be ready to invest that time, personal time, with your employees, with your colleagues, with your coworkers. And this is part of the empathy. So if you think that you're going to work from 8 to 4 and apply empathy, good luck. I've seen a lot of model, a lot of stats on these things, a lot of practices. Read a book called Multiplier. Very nice book by Liz Wiseman. I met her personally. She's an American writer. You have to be ready to put few hours of your personal time for your staff, for your coworkers, to really deploy empathy in that case. Being in their shoes. You cannot do it by working 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. It's not going to happen.
Thank you so much. Everyone's been really open, really honest. It's just been lovely to listen to. I really appreciate sort of your transparency about how things are working for you and what your opinions are, and hopefully you've had some learning. You are all free to go.